Hey guys!
I'm Issa,
And I'm Sam.
and welcome back to Likewise Pod.
It's about whatever we want.
And last week I was really hoping we'd have another episode out, but that's just not what happened. But I thought our 1 year anniversary was so good, and I'm just so stoked for this week's.
Same, I'm so excited. This week is something we've been looking forward to for a hot minute now. We're so excited to have one of our favorite guests back on for a second time. And so today we are blessed by the lovely presence of our good friend Eli Jonathan. So Eli, go ahead and just introduce yourself.
Hi guys, my name is Eli Jonathan, as Sam so greatly introduced me. I am a musician, producer, artist from the Seattle area, and have been from the Seattle area for about a year now, which is actually close to around the first time that I was on the podcast, if I'm not incorrect.
Oh
So,
wow.
yeah,
Wow.
there's a little anniversary of our own happening.
Dang, should have gotten a cake. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I have one. It's just not made yet. I have like cake mix, but that's about as close as I
Oh,
have.
perfect. Next time.
Yes, a celebration is in order.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so as always, we're going to kick this episode off with some roses and thorns. Sam, you want to get us started this week?
Yeah, I'll start us off. So my rose is that I started my internship. Last episode I talked about how I was moving to Nebraska to do my internship at Buckle headquarters. And so that started, and it's the start of my second week right now, and it's been literally amazing. And it's so weird, like you can go on the Buckle website and there's like photo shoots that are like the photos are up there of things that I like literally styled and put together. So like that's super dope. And then my thorn is that on my first day of my internship, I got the worst like migraine of my life, and I had to like drive my mom like 3 hours away to the airport after I got off work. And like 20 minutes into the car ride, I threw up in the car with my mom. So that was not fun, and it was just really chaotic, but I've been good ever since. I've been trying to try this new thing. Don't know if anyone's heard of it, called drinking water. So
Yes, yes.
Is it
Uh,
working?
it is working. Yes.
perfect.
I would say my rose for this week has been the weather, because it has been all day today was like 85. And it's been good to the point where I left this morning. I left my apartment this morning, and it was starting to heat up. I had two people on the walk to my car stop me and talk to me about how nice the weather was supposed to be today. So it feels very symbolic for I don't know, like things opening back up and people being excited again because people want to talk to strangers about how nice the weather is. It's been really cute. I would say that the fact that my roof of the apartment complex I live in is uninhabited and has access, like we have access to a roof really high up where me and my roommates can go and suntan regardless of like the weather, regardless of other people. So it's nice, it's private, it's cute. I'm gonna buy like a parasol and put it up there or something.
No, that's so rad. I love that.
And I would say I think my thorn for the week has unfortunately also been the weather, because it's been so hot in the apartment that my plants have been dying. Uh, which I thought they were tropical plants, but I don't know if they knew that. So I'm actually in the process of also cooling down a glass of water. I put a glass of water in the freezer so that I can give it to the rat that lives in our apartment afterwards, so that she can cool down as well, because I feel like I can tough it out, but I'm not so sure about her.
Is this like a wild rat?
No, it's a pet rat.
It is.
Was it? I wasn't sure if this was like a meant to be pet rat or like a ratatouille situation or just like a wild
Yeah,
one.
he actually produces all my music for me. Just to keep
Oh,
it in
okay,
my
cool,
head,
cool,
and
cool.
yeah. But yeah, it's a pet rat. Its name is Smoothie.
Oh, I love that. I love smoothies. I mean, maybe not rats, but smoothies themselves, great.
It's okay. It's an easy way to get into it.
Okay, I'll start with my thorn because it's very related to yours, Eli. My thorn is that I'm just having like even more trouble sleeping just because it's so warm at night, and then I just wake up all sweaty and gross. So love that. But my rose is that honestly life is really great, and I'm probably in one of like the best places I've ever been. So I'm really happy about that. But that just means it's gonna end soon because I have to go to Pullman. But let's hope it carries over.
Yikes.
I can relate, definitely.
I believe in us, Sam. It'll be great. It'll be grand.
Alrighty. Let's just get right into the cues. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So, if you didn't know, Eli released a new song over this last weekend, and that's why we're here today, to talk all about it. It's so good. We may or may not have had early access to listen to it, and so we had some time to like formulate our thoughts on it. I think it's so fantastic. So, just to start off, we of course want to know all of the backstory and origin, like all details that you want to disclose of how Show Off came to be. So I guess just first, what was the most pivotal moment of the whole process for you?
That's a really good question. I would say that there was the moment where I'd had the song for probably about 2 years, I think, just in bits and pieces, and just rediscovered it, wanted to put it all together, and I sent it out to a few people, and one of them, my good friend Samara, got back to me and she said, "Can I do something for it?" And I was like, "Absolutely." Then we forgot about it again. We were working on music, other projects together one day, and we were one of the rare cases where I was actually in the same place as somebody this last year making music together. And she made a voice memo, like a voice recording, and sent it to me. I put it in, fell in love with the song again, and would not let her redo it or change it at all. I was like, this voice memo is going to go on the final song. So now what is arguably the best melody and best performance in the song is actually an iPhone voice memo.
Oh, wow.
That is so cool.
I mean, we already know I don't know anything about the music industry and like all these things, but I never would have guessed that would have come just from a little voice memo.
It's super surprising, actually. Voice memos are for some reason really well respected in the production community now. Like, if you have an idea and you put it in from like an iPhone microphone, like, it absolutely works. You can absolutely make it work.
Yeah, no, I've noticed that a lot more, like just from artists I follow. Like they'll just post like on their Instagrams like, "Hey, this is a song I have," and it's just like on their voice recordings. I'm like, wow, how fun. So you mentioned working with Smart. How was that overall?
Horrible. Just like
Never again.
Exactly. No, Samara's actually a really good friend of mine. We've been working on projects together for quite a bit before I moved to. Oh, I remember Samara. Actually met her at the release of my first music video. She had driven down maybe 2 hours to come hang out for the night with a mutual friend, and turns out we had a bunch of connections, and so it's actually always a really good time working with her. She's very um I would say like detail based. She has a way of nailing things very easily that other people don't. Like, she can visualize exactly how she wants something in a much more clearer aspect than I think most people do. And So when her and I work on something, she's often very focused on how to make it perfect and how to make it as good as it can be. And paired with my normal process of just trying to make anything as fast as possible, we end up making really cool things, which we worked a bit together on a mini series from a little production company called Third Charm Films. They're making a mini series called Hetero, and which is about a bunch of teens' high school experience, and casted and acted by a lot of our friends. And we actually got to work on the music together for that. So she's very talented artist, multifaceted. So actually working with her the weirdest part was just the fact that we hadn't done more of that before, honestly.
Oh, wow, that's so cool.
No, I love that, and I can agree with like everything you were saying. Like so many positive things. Like it's kind of hard to put into words like how amazing and creative Samara is, and like because I mean I know Samara too because we worked on the jock videos together. Exciting, loved doing that. But she just I don't know what it is. Like her brain is just powerful. Like the way she can conceptualize things and have an exact vision and know exactly how to do it is pretty dang cool. And on top of that, having like one of the most like phenomenal voices I've ever heard. And so just like hearing her voice on the song, I mean now knowing that's a voice note is extra cool, but like hearing her singing that, I'm like, oh, this is so good.
Yeah, no, she is a weird way of visualizing. She's able to see exactly what the problems that you'll run into with any project is, and she's able to address those before you actually get to it, which is actually I feel like how she approaches singing phenomenally. She every time she sings something, she's able to visualize what's going to be difficult and like how she can do it to the best of her ability, and she goes miles ahead of just what is called for. And it's really impressive consistently.
Yes.
I feel like that's just such like a good skill to have just in everyday life, not necessarily just the music industry or whatever it is that you want to do, but just being able to, like you said, visualize like what's going to be difficult about the task and being able to find a way to overcome it and do it well.
For sure. So you said that you actually had the song for like 2 years before it came about now. And so is there any specific like inspiration behind the song or the lyrics? Anything specific?
Well, it was actually um originally I was from the first era of it was actually probably going to be one of the first few songs I released back in 2019 when I started. And it obviously didn't end up becoming that, but it did become something else that I continued to love. I think I redid the entire thing maybe 3 or 4 times, which is more than I ever go back over projects with. Um, and it had the most moments where I was like, oh, I've finally updated this, so I'm in love with it now, as opposed to, having been in love with it before. It's actually really cool because the final kick of the song was definitely the lyrics, writing the lyrics before Samara had actually put her part in. I was heavily contemplating the fact that I was meeting so many creative people, so many, really, really well-versed people in other areas that I'm an expert in, or I guess as much as I can consider myself an expert in anything. But I was meeting so many people that were also creative, were also hardworking, passionate, but not like me at all, and not doing the same things as I was, not taking the same journey. And the song definitely became about appreciating how passionate other people can be about something you would never take the time to be. The chorus says you won't wait. No, I can pull it up.
I just expect you to know your own songs.
I would too, but not performing live has killed me.
I can imagine.
I
mean,
don't.
honestly, even like the biggest artists still need like cues for their own lyrics. Like Joe Jonas doesn't know his own lyrics.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm not gonna justify it. I need to step my game up for sure before things come back.
Fine.
But yeah, it says the ending of the chorus says, "Now I know you never sit still," which was originally the title of the song. And it's kind of this moment of realization where you kind of realize that everybody has a drive, everybody has a passion that like makes them wake up in the morning and makes them do what they do. And just because it's not the same thing, like for everybody, doesn't mean people are sitting still. It doesn't mean that some people are moving and some people are sitting still. Like everybody is determined to move forward. And I really liked that because I started the song not realizing that whatsoever and wrote the lyrics completely understanding from my perspective what that actually meant for me and how to work with people through that.
Wow. Yeah, again, I never would have guessed. But so I guess what kind of made you decide to steer away from that being the title of the song to being Show Off?
I think that's actually interesting because Show Off has been a title that I've wanted to use for a couple years as well. And I like that's the way I most commonly like start songs is from a random title I want to use. It helps with lyrics, it helps with production, having a vision for what it will be in the future. And I kind of noticed that like that's how I would describe myself when I started working on the project. And that's who I'm talking to when I talk about like my realizations in the lyrics. Like that's who I'm trying to convince that, you know, other people are are worth like trying to understand, even if you can't readily do it right at the beginning, you know, especially with creative things and creative work. I think Samara's a really good example because her and I work so differently. But getting to a point where we can kind of mesh that together makes things that are so much prettier than I think personally what we would work on apart, you know?
Yes, having creative friends is literally so important, and especially people that like when you come together, just like the end product is better than anything you could have done, like separately even. And so I think that's like just a super important thing to have. And I feel like I'm gonna walk away from recording this tonight so inspired. Like I'm just like, wow, this is like good life advice about just like being able to just like understand like other people's passions, and like even if it's things you don't do, like that's just so cool. And wow, that warms my heart. I love that. So it is like a little different from your other songs that you've released in the past, obviously. And so what do you think sets Show Off apart from your other songs?
I would say that what sets it apart is kind of I there was never a point towards the end of making the song where I changed my vision for it at all. Like a lot of times I'm focused on how people are going to hear it over Spotify or over streaming. I think with this one, I was really focused on how it was going to sound live and entering into another age where I'm comfortable releasing music that like I actually feel like I'm going to perform this live at some point. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people that when they hear it for their first time, it'll be at like a show and I'll be able to perform it. So it sounds a lot more like it would from a stage, I really think. And it's definitely written from a stage and sounds like it's from a stage. It's just all about what I missed about performing and what I missed about like going to a concert and having a song hit me in that way. As opposed to more finding music for playlists and finding music that fits my daily life and is super, super important for me, but will never sit in my mind the way that hearing that like from a stage would.
So are you excited to like perform it live eventually?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. There's that's everything. Everything I'm working on is so revolves around that. And there has been no point in which I haven't missed that and haven't woken up missing that. So I'm very, very excited especially to be in Seattle. Like just thinking about that, like it's very inspiring for me and like definitely drives me to make more.
Yeah. So you said earlier that you've been in Seattle for about or almost a year now. How is that compared, like making music compared to being in Olympia or wherever you've been before?
There's more people. there's more connections. I have a lot more random people reaching out to me than, well, they start random and then they become friends and things like that. Um, things like that, like acquaintances, friends, acquaintances. They become family, yeah. um, but there's just so much. I'm so much closer to everything. Um, and as things have opened back up, I've gone from a space where I used to live with all the people I created with and used to be roommates with them and do the same things every week. Whereas now I get to kind of be involved in other people's lives a bit more. I used to be bringing a group of people around me, and now I get to be a part of a bunch of people's smaller groups, and it's helped me make things for other people, as opposed to having other people make things for me and make things like for purely selfish reasons. Like now I actually get to like help people out with projects and I get to participate in other people's things just because I'm 5 minutes away from them now.
That's awesome. I feel like that's like such a good opportunity. I feel like that's a good word for just like being in Seattle. It's like nothing but like more opportunities, and like I just feel like the focus is more on what you're doing, and you just, I don't know, it's a lot more like good energy. And like I always see just like photos on social media of like you and your roommates, and it just makes me so happy because y'all are just always having a good time, I feel like. And so it just seems like such a wholesome like friendship, and so that's just so cool to have that, like in addition to getting to like be creative and work with other people on stuff. And so I don't know where I want to go from there, but I guess just another question, kind of going back to the release of Showoff, is just like, how was the overall like release process? I mean, from like promo to once it was out, just like the response.
As I've actually been very, very privileged to have the last couple things I've released be with some of the most talented people I've ever worked with. I mean, I had Same Grace come out with Heather Shalon, and had Trust come from Kiki, and now having Samara on Show Off. It's really nice because when people, regardless of if they're being nice or if they do, or if, do feel that way, like you always have people come up and tell you, hey, the last thing that you did, I think it's the best thing that you've ever done. It's my favorite work of yours. Like, please keep doing it. And it's really cool because when I involve other people in the projects, it's so much easier to believe that right off the bat. Whereas somebody will come up and they'll say, oh my God, Samara's voice on Show Off. Like that, I feel like that's the best thing you've ever done. And I can instantly say, I know, right? Like I can relate to them and be like, I appreciate this in the way that you do. And in the same way, it's been really nice being in that era because that gives me more confidence to promote it almost as if I'm like recommending a song to friends, which allowed me to work with the great Ryan Funk, on a lot of promo and material, and kind of brainstorm in, I don't know, I guess, marketing in a way that I've never really have, because it's such a weird thing to come from making a song and then putting it out into the world. It's such a nerve-wracking process, and always, I think a lot of people get it, but for me it's very confusing. So it's been, but throughout it all, I like, because even if it's just because Samara's voice is on it, it's felt like, sharing a playlist, or it's felt like sharing a song of somebody else's that I really love. And I think that's a huge privilege to get to feel that way about your own music.
That's so cool. And like you just mentioned that you've had like your 3 singles come out this year and they've all been collaborative. So how has that been to have collaborative singles or collaborative songs like come out versus solely just Eli Jonathan?
Well, it's really nice. I always get someone involved in when I'm already kind of excited about a project I'm working on. I'll, wrangle up whatever I have and say like, hey, this is my vision. Is this something you would want to be involved in ever? Like, would you ever want to work with me on something? Can we please like sit down and talk about that? And once they say yes, then I'm like psyched to just have it, made and finished. And especially with, especially because there's a lot of moments where you kind of have to get creative, especially through working remotely. And having 2 people excited about the same project is, miles above the motivation that you need. Like, I can, if I hit a weird roadblock, I might stop. But if 2 of us hit a weird roadblock, then we're going to figure out something.
Yes, I love that. I feel like it also, the way I kind of thought of it too, was like, I feel like it really, really shows off, haha, not to like play with the word show off, but like it shows off like the fact that you are a producer, like it's not, now like when I'm showing people songs, it's not just like, oh, this is my friend Eli's song, and they're like, oh, he's singing, and I'm like, no, well, like he actually like, he like makes the music too, like that's a thing. And so I feel like you collabing so much with other people also just like kind of makes the focus of like your name in it is almost just like the fact that like you're producing this song and not like I'm singing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I feel like there's been kind of a need to do that, because as much as I love performing on a regular stage and working with other people and making music, there's there's such a big world out there as far as, the most fulfilling. Sometimes I feel like the most fulfilling parts of making music for me are still out there. And I feel really close to a lot of those things when I get to create the parts of music that I don't normally get to. So as a producer, there's definitely a marked change of like, especially with the next few things that I will be releasing, hint hint. Um, there's a definite change of like, I'm trying to make things that I feel like push that boundary a little bit more, and sound a little less like my greatest inspirations and sound a little bit more like me inspiring myself, hopefully.
Oh, I love that.
Definitely.
I mean, I, I've loved everything you've said, because it's really cool, because it really just demonstrates how you're in it solely for your passion for music, and you're not in it for like the fame or for like everyone to be like, oh my gosh, Eli Jonathan, wow. Like, I mean, of course, like those are all pluses and bonuses, but just having the music out there and being able to work with people and collaborate with others and, like you said, become family with them, I think that's so cool. And like my friends from elementary, middle, and high school who like write music and produce their music, like they've been working together since elementary school, and it really does become like family.
Oh yeah, I feel like there's anytime you get like a group of people, any like 3 or more people together, everybody's always like, we should do this all the time. We should all move in together. We should all move to this location together and do this 24/7, never stop. We can all like pool resources. And I feel like that's a very consistent point of view for me and my friends, whatever that friend group may be. And it's nice because I feel like I'm finally getting to experience the happy medium of that, because a lot of people I work with I probably could not live with. So, which, that's just learning to be a roommate is probably harder for me than music at this point.
That's so funny. Yeah, this is not on the doc, but you saying that just made me think of this. I noticed that your roommates made a hate account about you on Instagram. Do you have any thoughts on your haters?
Uh, I'm just happy to be included, honestly. Uh, I think I think they know how much I like attention. Uh, so there's as much as it was made to make fun of me, I think I probably like that hate account more than they do.
Love it.
They say you don't make it big till you have haters. Sam, we should make our own hate account.
Oh yeah, I would absolutely be involved in a likewise hate account. That would be so much fun.
Okay, we'll get right on it.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to think of anything bad to say about you guys, so I'd have to outsource that to some other friends of mine. But I doubt I'd be able to find those people either.
Oh, that's so kind.
You could just come to me. I'm the source.
Sounds good.
So kind of backtracking a little bit, or a lot, I don't really remember. So you've had this song for 2 years, or so, give or take. And I just feel like it would have changed between then and now. Is this kind of the music that you want to continue to record and produce, or is it kind of like an older sound, do you think, and you've kind of grown out of it, or because it's grown with you, it's definitely going more in the direction that you want to go?
I think that it's a sound that I think there's been, I don't even know, I think I read it, a Bleachers interview where Jack Antonoff said that Bleachers as a project was something that he felt like was him, and something that he felt like wouldn't leave. And I think that was the same thing. I think Samir Gadia said that about Young the Giant. And so a lot of really inspiring bands for me have kind of echoed the fact that what they do is always going to remain with them. And like, that's just who they are. I feel like Showoff is very, very typical of what comes out of me the easiest. Like, it's not a struggle at all. It's not something I have to, warp or try to inject new things into. But I think that because of that, there's always going to be part of me proving that I can do more. Because I'm constantly trying to impress myself. So whereas Showoff has definitely it was really nice finding out that I could make Showoff at the time. I'm definitely going to be moving into things that are things that freak me out a little bit more, and trying to perform in places that freak me out a little bit more, and trying to have my music be in a space that freaks me out, because if I'm not freaked out, then I'm not growing. So I trying to put myself in that space more and more. So I think things will change quite a bit.
Yes, breaking out of that comfort zone into the growth zone, as they call it. Yeah, that's so cool. I was just thinking about this. I'm going off grid again. Nothing that we have down in our notes at all. But I was just like picturing, because recently I listened to the song in a great environment for listening to the song, in my opinion, which was driving down the city with the sunroof open. It was nighttime, so in this instance, it is a moonroof. And all the windows down, like heat blasting, volume all the way up, just like enjoying life. And like, I thought that was a great moment. But like, how do you like do you have any perfect vision for like the perfect listening to the song?
Well, I think it's in equal parts that actually, because that's such a pivotal thing. Is like hearing a song in the car on the freeway, like with the windows rolled down. Um, but in a lot of ways, I think there's the thing I was envisioning was always either um sort of a rooftop moment, like a rooftop in like maybe midday, like really bright midday rooftop, or as always, like from the biggest stage imaginable, like no matter how many people are like in an audience, like it could be 5 people in the audience, like as long as the stage is huge. And um I think that they're like and I think that that's actually a really good way to describe the last question, is like um this, like sound wise, that's always going to be what kind of flows naturally out of me, I think, is like on the freeway with like the windows down, like kind of coming of age moments, definitely has always been very like what I think of naturally.
I feel like that's, I mean, again, I'm not an expert of the music industry, but I feel like that's a, not necessarily like a dream, but I guess a hope or a wish for artists and their songs. Is like, this is a song I want people to be able to blast in the car no matter their mood. Like, whether it's a ballad, whether it's like pump up, or like you just got dumped or you broke up with someone. Like, I feel like that's just kind of a common theme. And car rides, car drives, great all the time. Windows down, hair blowing in the wind, or head blowing in the wind if you don't have hair.
I don't, by the way. I think that was a dig.
No, no, it wasn't. It was just more aimed at people who don't have long hair. But I just, because that's my favorite place to listen to music, is in the car when I'm driving. And so I feel like, oh, duh, sorry, wheels are turning in my head now as I'm saying this all. Oh, wow. But yeah, sorry. I don't think that actually made any sense, but that's okay.
No, that made perfect sense. I think that there's always an ideal, like when I make a song, that's the first thing I want to do when it comes out, when I like get to hear it for the first time on a streaming service. Like I love it to be like, I always try to take a car trip. I always try to put it in situations where I'd be listening to other music and feel that same way, and see if it like measures up, if I still feel the same way about it. And I'm always very, very happy when it does.
Actually, I saw on TikTok, what was it, yesterday or the day before, these two guys, like one who is the artist and the other one is his friend slash manager person. They're like, okay, every time I'm about to release a song, we go on a drive test and we like blast the song, windows down, and if we don't feel like we're on top of the world, we can't release it. Do you have a sort of test like that for your songs or anything? Maybe not exactly like that, but any sort of thing.
It's I actually have a really good answer for this one. Um, but like, as always, like play it really loud and play it in a car, and play it in a playlist and play it with other things. But um, for me, it's actually a very good production tip. If like anybody that makes music, hears music, listens to music, if anybody, um, you do this thing where you take the song and then you pitch shift it, like raise or lower the pitch, so that it sounds like um, basically your ear gets tricked into hearing it for the first time. So and the most common way I think that people like hear this is when you go on YouTube and you search like a version of a really popular song, like slowed and reverbed, and like, or you hear like those, anything on YouTube that says like song slowed and reverbed, or um like, I don't know, do I want to know by the Arctic Monkeys, but you're in the bathroom at a party, something like that. um Like that's the most common way people will hear that, and they'll be like, oh wow, it's like I'm listening to this song for the first time. So what I'll do is I'll take my songs and I'll make versions of them like that, and I'll listen to them um like they've been edited that way, like they've been, like it sounds like somebody completely different is singing it, and I'm tricking myself into hearing it for the first time, and right off the bat I get to go, oh, that makes me feel exactly the way I want music to make me feel, or that doesn't make me feel that way at all. If somebody else played this song, I would not like it. So that's my test always.
Oh, I love that. Wow. Eli Jonathan divulging all of his secrets on Likewise Pod.
Also credit to who first showed me that. That was Low File, which is a big time music producer from London, England, for showing me that, I think when I was like 16.
That's so fun. It kind of reminds me, my brain instantly thought that like sometimes I'll listen to the podcast, and since we listen to it at like 2 times speed, it's kind of the same thing. Like it's pitched up, and so it's like I'm hearing it for the first time because I'm like, wow, I don't even remember talking about that, because like you're not hearing your voice the same. So kind of the same thing. I was also thinking about when you said like picturing the song being played like huge stage, and you said it doesn't even matter if there's 5 people in the crowd, but as long as the stage is huge. That was just like so good. My brain just like remembered that and like clung to it, because I feel like that's kind of like something Issa and I talk about with the podcast too. It's just like, oh, like even if like only 3 people listen to it, like it's there, and like we made it. And so that kind of just reminded me of that, and just that's just a good piece of advice for like anyone making anything. Like who cares if like not very many people see it or listen to it or hear it, but like you made it and you put your art out there. So I don't know, like that's pretty cool. So that was just my little tangent. So I guess just back into questions about the music. For the the future of Eli Jonathan, do you have any wants or ideas, or maybe you've already started playing with this, but do you want to go into different genres? I mean, I know you've played around with some like production stuff on like Instagram Reels and stuff of like, oh, this song if it was hyper pop and like this, but so kind of what's your thoughts on that?
Well, my first thought is whatever I say is invalid, because yesterday I went on like a manic episode and made like 18 different weird hyperpop songs. So so there's always that. So yeah, there's definitely been some experimenting, and hopefully some stuff will get released in the near future. A lot of things, because I mean um I don't know how revealing is it if I say I've never actually been to a rave. That might be kind of, I don't know, maybe that's too much information to give out, but I have never been to a rave.
It's okay,
But
same.
yeah, but yeah, it's been like that's definitely a huge part of like what I feel like to be my culture has been dance music and has been electronic music. And I'm trying to reflect a lot of what I listen to all at once. As far as wants for the future, I think that's actually a good segue out of the tangent, is that I think that the importance of, like, it doesn't matter how many people there is in the audience, but at least the stage is huge, is, like there's definitely been a point where I've had to I kind of had to come to grips with like the fact that if I want any sort of success in the music industry, if I want any sort of notoriety, like the things that I enjoy the most about that are getting to work with people that I want to work with, and getting to take other people that want to work with me and give them opportunities. So there's not really a ton of overlap between like my wants and a crazy future of like super big fame and notoriety, and I'm trying to keep it that way. Because I think that the things that are always going to inspire me the most are, like I said, getting to reach out to a person that I've been listening to since I was like 15 and make something with them, or getting to take my friend who's not as confident in their artistic ability and give them a platform and give them like my resources and give them what I do and say like, hey, like it's not that hard to make something that you love. Like you're always going to be able to make something that you love. It's just how much time that you give it and how much you're willing to believe in yourself, even if you're not like ready for anybody else to hear it and say they believe in you yet.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I just had a thought. I'm so sorry. I just totally forgot it. But yes, I would definitely love to hear an Eli Jonathan ballad or like an acoustic song. But no, I think that's really cool that you, I mean, do think about it. I mean, I feel like it's hard to not even think about it, about like stepping out and stuff. And again, like just going out of your comfort zone. I feel like that's a really great thing to do, is just to think about where you can grow and how you can grow.
Yeah, I think well, first of all, yeah, I would love to do. I would actually, because I mean, well, I started doing like open mic nights in like my
Oh,
teens and like my mid-teens, and like there's always like a really really soft spot in my heart for like songs I heard in that time and songs I performed with people and cool things like that. um but I think that there's also been kind of a there's also been kind of an interesting thing where there's a lot of things about the music industry that are obviously perfect. Um, and I'm kind of happy that I get to know them at as small as I am. Like I get to get some input from people that I really respect in the music industry. And I definitely don't take for granted the fact that like there's no pressure on me whatsoever if I want to make something different, or if I want to make something cool, or if I want to make something and like release it just for me. Like it's completely up to me. And I'm always going to appreciate that. Like um regardless of what I'm doing, I'm always going to value that independence. And I'm hoping to use whatever notoriety I gain to kind of make it a safe space for artists to do the same thing and to completely make their own decisions, regardless of what type of art that might be.
I love that. I feel like one thing I think about sometimes is just that I feel like a lot of artists and things, I mean, you can kind of tell sometimes just looking at like comments on people's like TikToks and things when they post their like songs and stuff, but or like the way that they'll preface it too. Sometimes they'll just say like, "Oh, I made this song that sounds exactly like blank person," and like a lot of people are just so caught up in like replicating someone else's exact style, and like, oh, that's the popular like genre and style and beat or whatever, and I'm gonna do the same thing and I'm gonna get huge and do this, and like are just so caught up in replicating someone else rather than like making just what they love, what sounds they want to hear, what sounds cool to them in the moment. And I just feel like that's something that I've noticed is just like different with your music. Like I feel like I listen to it and I'm like, this is like completely new. Like I can't say like this sounds just like this song and this, you know? Like I'm like, this is new and unique and like this is Eli. Like it's not anything else.
Aw, I appreciate that. I love to hear that. Because like when I first started making music, it was all about like imitation. It was all about replication. Like I was starting every project wanting an end goal that was very, very similar to somebody else's. And over time, like I started to realize that I could never finish anything that was started in that way, or that was like, um, that had that end goal in mind, because like those things were already made. Like somebody already finished those projects and put those into existence, and now people can hear it, and it's great. Um, but they're the things that like those like different things have freaked me out as like my time with music has gone on. And whatever makes me nervous, like what used to make me nervous was like going up on stage with like an acoustic guitar in like a tiny coffee shop. But now like what makes me nervous is like making something strange, or like just elements of something strange, and like sharing it with like my friends, and um playing giant shows and playing like my music for people that have never heard it before, and like being confident in what I do is like the new thing that like freaks me out, and I'm really happy about that because it's changed so much from what used to.
No, that's, yeah. I love that. There's the beauty in that, I think, and just really having the passion for it that you do and just wanting to do it to fulfill and like satisfy that passion, I think is really cool. And I mean, not to make it about me and Sam, but I mean, Sam, like at the beginning of the pod, we're like, wow, we just want to be just like Haley Fan and Lillian and Common Candid and like all these other podcasts and like things. And we're like, okay, well, we want to do it like this because they do that, and we want to also do this part because they do that. But then like the more we did it, the more we found our own and like kind of did it in ways that we wanted. We're like, okay, well, this doesn't really work, but that worked really, really well. And then just kind of figuring it out along the way. I feel like imitation is a great way to start, but then you grow out of that as you grow in whatever you're pursuing and doing.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect way of explaining it, is that like imitation is one of the best ways to start doing whatever. But then like you have to hit the point where you start like thinking of yourself in the same way that you think of popular artists. Like you definitely have to hit a point very, very like quickly in that process where you're like, oh yeah, they're people. And like it's because like you either have to start viewing all the people you look up to as people and as equals, or you have to elevate yourself like with so much narcissism to be like, well, like yeah, they might be like rock gods, but like so am I. And that can get you in different types of trouble. So it's much easier to just like humanize all the celebrities and like take it from there.
I like that. That's like, I mean, Issa and I like to say we're amateurs, but I don't want to call other podcasters amateurs, so I think maybe we'll take the road of calling ourselves pro podcasters. But I don't know, maybe other people won't like that.
No, I like that. I like that a lot. You just gotta choose what's good for your situation.
Yeah,
Yes.
Sam, you could say that about yourself. I'm still an amateur.
Well, I'll stick with you there. We'll all be amateurs. Just looking at the future still, is there anything that you know for sure right now where you want to go with your music? Anything you want to do next specifically?
I would love to get really, really involved in projects. I think I've gotten so much more comfortable with collaboration. Not necessarily better, but definitely more comfortable with working with other people. I would love to, it's something I've already started doing, but definitely do things like take an artist or multiple artists, bit like, I don't know, whatever the modern form of like forming a band is, or like working with an artist very consistently, or like going on week or 2 week long like benders where like everything is just about making a project. I would love to take what I like got better at doing with singles and working with artists, and do that with entire projects, and do that with entire careers and things like that. um Basically make it so that that high of like writing, performing, um like marketing and releasing, and then performing, make it so that that whole process can kind of be a very, very long term thing, and make things that are worthy of being worked on for years at a time, as opposed to, something that can be done with the right people in like hours. Like I would love to just work on more long form things, and things that like I'm proud of saying like took me a long time, because I'm always focused on efficiency. So I'm weirdly, it's harder for me to say that I had like show off for 2 years, because everything else has been so spur of the moment. Um but I'm working on being more comfortable with that. I would love to put my all into something for an extended period of time.
I love that. I mean, and I think it's so fun when people have like projects for a super long time, because sometimes like it starts off one way and then it ends a totally different way. So you can like hear or see or experience the growth of that person, and not only like that song or that podcast or that movie or whatever it is, that project, And so I think that's so rad that you did have that song for so long and didn't even let us know. But it's okay, we forgive you. Well, at least I do.
I will go over the footage of last time we were recording, because I might have mentioned it. I definitely did not mention it. It was probably not on my radar at that point.
It's so funny because so when we recorded the first time with you on last August, I think was when it was, you had hinted at Same Grace, and when you hinted at it, you hadn't told us like exactly who like Heather was, but you like gave a couple really good identifying hints about her, and so I may or may not have gone home. I literally could have just asked you who it was, like, after we recorded, and you would have said it. But Issa and I decided to be, like, sleuths, and I, like, stalked. I would, like, go on, like, people you followed, and then I'd, like, be on TikTok, and then I, like, found her, and I was like, I think this is it. And I sent her to Issa, and then I was right. And so I just would like to shout out my super sleuth skills. Even though I know very much, like, you, like, post all the time. You're like, if you ask, I'll leak. Like,
and that's not to discredit the surprise. That's not to discredit that or anything. We just like to know and do things ourselves. We're independent women.
I think, see, this is what I like about, like, hate accounts, is the same thing, because it's like, if you're willing to take that time for something that I'm doing, then I've obviously headed in the right direction. But it's actually really funny, because I remember, because I mean, Heather is the closest thing I can come to name dropping at this point, which it is, like, she's a very big name drop for me. So I was like, I'm not gonna mention her by name, just for the purpose of, like, I don't need to stroke my own ego at this moment. It's already cool enough that I made a song with her.
Well, honestly, that's all the questions we had and more that we had for you. But I love this. It's so fun. I love learning more about what you do and how you do it and just everything about it, because, again, third time I've mentioned it, I know nothing about the music industry or what y'all do over there. So I barely know about podcasts. So thank you for telling us and, talking to us.
No, yeah, I have a hat that says music industry on it. I have a baseball cap that says that. So I obviously know everything that there is to know. So I've obviously taken that journey and at the end of it, so
Oh, okay,
I'm an expert on all these things. So whatever people are hearing my voice say in this podcast or otherwise, please take as gospel and treat it like the Bible.
Oh my God.
The music industry Bible. I just think, like, I don't know, there's just something about, like, you think like, about a song, or, like, I'll be like, oh, it's so good, and you just, like, you think it's like, oh, cool song, whatever, and then when you get to, like, sit down and, like, actually get told, like, a story about it, I feel like it's just so different, and, like, it's completely changed for me. Like, if someone asked me, like, 2 hours ago what the song meant, I literally would not have said any of that, and now that I know, that's, like, super cool, and I'm like, I want to tell this to everyone I know and, like, inspire them. Like,
yeah, I think that's actually maybe a little too close to home, because with Show Off, I thought Samara was singing different lyrics the entire time we were with the entire time we were finishing the song. I was sitting in this studio. Oh, fun fact, I recorded my vocals for show off in like a tiny basement room in Seattle, like in a sorority, actually. Like a sorority house. Like had a setup for like a second there, and like was just yelling down in a basement. So apparently that's the equivalent of like using a voice memo, because wow, the vocals were interestingly produced all around, now that I think about it. But I was sitting in this studio for hours on end listening to it and thinking that Samara was singing different lyrics than she was actually singing. And the whole time I was like, this is a great fit melodically. I love this. I'm so excited to put this out. And talked with her very briefly, and I said, so what is it exactly that you're saying, right? Because I was like, I'll need to I'll need to put these, for the Genius interview.
Oh yes, of course.
I'll need these. And she explained it out to me, and the lyrics were, I see my reflection on the CDs on my wall. All I hear is yelling, how do I get out? And and there was like a moment where I started like tearing up, because I was like, oh my God, it fits. Like, oh my gosh, this is so perfect. This is so great. And she's like, well, what did you think I was saying? Something completely different. I was like, not at all what I was thinking of.
Oh, that's okay. Honestly, a lot of songs I don't actually know the words to, and I think I do, and then I find out years later those aren't the real ones. But I prefer my version.
Of course, yeah, and feel free to make up whatever me and Samara are saying in your own heads. It's way more fun that way.
Oh my word. Well, I feel like it's reached that point of the night. Sam, what do you think?
I think it's time.
Okay, well, as much as I love this, it's time to move on to Song of the Week. Our favorite part, other than the interview, of course, because honestly, guest ups, my favorite part is the interview and then Song of the Week, whereas usually it's just Song of the Week.
I've been waiting the whole time for just
You should have just told us. This would have been a really quick episode.
Yeah, only here for Song of the Week.
I will come on every week for Song of the Week.
You will come on and perform for Song of the Week. Like, Song of the Week is no longer recommendations. It's like you're coming on and performing.
And it'll be the same song every week, and it won't be one of mine.
Perfect. All right, Sam, what is your Song of the Week this week?
Okay, so my Song of the Week this week, only because I cannot pick Show Off, is Plot Twist by Nicki, and it's just so good. I've just been listening to it a lot, been going on a lot of drives recently, and the way that the song just like builds up right into like the intro, like the way it just comes in, it just like hits. It's really powerful. That's all I have to say about it.
Can I pick two?
I mean, I guess you never follow the rules on this.
I don't think I have not followed the rules on this yet.
You picked 3 last time.
Did I pick 3?
Yeah, so 3, 2. Next time it's 1.
Does that mean I get to pick 3 now? No, I'll stay with 2. So my songs of the week, 2 of them, are actually both new friends of mine that are some of the most inspiring artists that I don't know, had the pleasure of having contact with in the recent past. The first one is Bet You Left It Out by Emia, or Amia, spelled Emia. And she's an artist in New York, making music in a very similar way and manner that I do. And talked with her a bit about her release. Her song released around the same time as Show Off did. So I had the pleasure of listening to all these stories and people reposting my song and getting all happy and stuff, and also seeing the same thing happen to her song. And it's just a gorgeous piece, really good for right before summer. Really, she's done some amazing things in the past too, so definitely check her out. And then the next one is an artist called Northy, And the song is called Basic City, which is like this huge ballad for like a second, and then it gets really intense. I don't know how to describe it. They're both definitely songs to scream along to, female-led songs to scream along to, which is probably my favorite genre right now. But I actually found Northy through this amazing video essayist called CJ on YouTube. And I'm sure if you find or look through anything relating to one of their social medias, you'll find the other one. But I don't know. I arrived at the conclusion of both of those songs very interestingly, and I'm very happy to have had contact with them because they are the coolest people.
Okay, my song of the week is Say Something by Alexa Capelli. I love her. Oh my gosh, literally incredible. Yeah, it definitely passes the drive test.
That's all I have to say.
The drive test is the most important part.
Yes, so good. But yeah, gosh, that really brings us to the end of the episode.
Yeah, sad, but it was so good. Like, I just feel so, like, fulfilled.
Aw.
No, honestly, I like coming into it, I was like, okay, well, let's hope these questions are good enough. But then you like kept saying stuff, and I was like, okay, this is easy to build like questions off of. And then just like talking to you, it didn't really feel like I hope it didn't feel too much like an interview, more like a conversation. But it's just so good being able to learn about this from you and just hear about the song and just talk to you, really.
No, I appreciate that. If I can do anything, it's talk for an extended period of time. So I'm just glad that I was kept on track, and I felt like I needed to give answers, which is good.
Yeah, I feel like Issa and I we always forget that, like, when we have other people on, when we like try to make like a plan, like questions or anything, like we just kind of forget like the one thing is that like the other person will talk. Like, they will, like, not just give us, like, a sentence and then just stop and, like, wait for us to say something. Like, they'll talk, and, like, it'll give us, like, enough to, like, make the next thing. So I think we just, like, forget that it won't be, like, weird.
Yeah, and every single time I'm writing questions and then we start the episode and we're going through it, I always delete questions because they're so redundant, not just with the other questions, but with what the person is saying. So I'm like, oh my gosh, Issa, of course they would talk about this sooner than we had it. Like, of course.
No, yeah. If the intention is to be awkward, then like I can do that next podcast. Like, make it as uncomfortable as possible, I guess.
One word answers only.
Yeah, exactly. Say, how was the release? It was fine. Thank you.
Thank you again so much for being on. It was such a pleasure, and I'm so stoked for when we can do this again.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I wish you guys a great evening, if we're allowed to tell your lovely listeners what time it is.
Oh yeah, we always do. Well, may not always, but it's not a secret.
It's 2:30 a.m.
Dang it. Okay, that part was a secret. All right, well, if you haven't already, make sure to follow Eli Jonathan on all the streaming platforms and socials. But yeah, this was such a great episode, and I had so much fun. And Eli and Sam, I just hope you guys have a really great rest of your day.
Thanks, Issa, and likewise to you all. Bye.
Bye.